Look, I have to come clean. I have a strange addiction to taking photos with the fisheye lens in Super Mario Odyssey and Super Mario 3D World. I don't know why, there's just something so funny to me about zooming in and making big round Mario faces. The only problem with that filter is that you lose it once you leave the photo mode. But here's the thing, what if it never went away? What if we played Super Mario Odyssey with the fisheye filter on at all times? Well, this is what we're going to do today. The rules are simple. We are going to be playing through the campaign of Super Mario Odyssey and we'll activate the fisheye filter at all times. This will obviously make things more difficult, as seeing in front of you with this filter is quite the challenge itself. The fun thing about this challenge is that even the cutscenes retain the fisheye filter, so this will allow me to create some amazing fisheye pictures to add to my collection. Alright, now that everything has been set, make sure to subscribe to never miss a future video from me, and let's just jump into it. Bonneton Kingdom is our first stop of the day, and let me tell you that getting used to playing like this will be quite a nightmare. As you can see, it's really hard to figure out if things are close or far away using that filter, but I soon made my way to Cappy and he joined me for this epic quest. As you can see, Mario wasn't really happy about this first look, but this second one fitted him way better. After entering the cave and capturing the frog, we then have to climb up this vertical tower, and let me tell you that doing so is quite trippy. I could barely see where I was jumping, but thankfully there ain't a lot of enemies in this cave, so reaching the top took no effort. This is where I first met the Broodals, this group of 4 bunnies, and they look so good with the fisheye filter. They're amazing! Defeating the boss is actually quite easy, and soon we'll be able to use this power line to reach the Cascade Kingdom. Once more, navigating this world is pretty confusing, but I'm gonna be honest, I played this game to death, so I actually know where to go and how to get some easy power moves. Capturing a chain chomp with the fisheye lens doesn't change much, as chain chomps are actually already round balls. I soon reached this 2D section, and besides looking a little curvier than usual, it's still super easy to play and clear. Kinda like the Madame Brood fight. I have to admit that she's pretty scary looking, seeing her with the filter and everything, but she's quite easy to defeat. With all of those power moons obtained, we can enter the Odyssey and move to the next kingdom. The Sand Kingdom is huge, but I have to admit that exploring such a vast world with the fisheye lens is a little bit disturbing. As I previously mentioned, it's kind of hard to know if things are far or close when moving with this filter, so all of a sudden it seemed to take a very long time just to reach the Tostarena Ruin entrance, and it's usually super close to the Odyssey. Well, that's how I remember it anyways. Making my way up the ruins wasn't too difficult, although I do have to admit that capturing a bullet bill and flying when everything is shaped like this isn't as satisfying. Yet again, the 2D section wasn't too difficult, and avoiding the obstacles on my way up was pretty easy. Getting the 5 moon shards was made more difficult, especially when moving with the Moai, because of how big they are and how much space they take on the screen. How am I supposed to see anything? Move your butt, dude! I then entered a couple of secret areas full of purple poison water, and I do have to admit that it's quite easy to mess up a jump when your vision looks like this. I can say the same thing about this secret area you have to navigate with a bullet bill. Like seriously, how was I supposed to see this wall and not blow myself into it? It appeared in 1.2 seconds. Making my way up to the inverted pyramid wasn't so bad, and I soon reached the top and fought another one of those bunnies. To defeat this one, you have to use Cappy to hit the bombs she drops, and it's pretty hard to do so when you barely see the bombs because of the crappy camera. Thankfully, she was soon defeated, and I hopped on a Jaxi to reach the Oasis and get my final moon to get out of this kingdom quickly. Now I had 2 choices of places to go next, so I decided to go with the Lake Kingdom because it's usually the shorter one of the 2. If you thought navigating the world with the fisheye lens was confusing, wait until you have to move up and down the water as a cheap. Seriously, take a look at this. How am I even supposed to not puke playing this? Navigating is pretty rough, but we only need 8 power moons to leave this kingdom, so there's plenty of easy ones you can get. I even made my way down the endless pit to reach my pal, Captain Toad. But he looks kinda weird. He still gave me a moon, so it's all good. Guess what? The bunnies wanted revenge, and to defeat Rango, you simply have to flip his hat to bounce on it and hit his head 3 times. The fisheye filter doesn't make this fight any more difficult, and we'll beat it in no time. The Wooded Kingdom is up, and this one contains lots of piranha plants that we need to dodge, but we'll soon be able to capture some uproots and explore the inside of this mountain. Since this part is a 2D section, it's not so bad. We'll soon have to walk on the flowery path that appears in the middle of nowhere, and this is kind of trippy to do. You don't want to run too fast or else you might fall down, but then again you don't want to run too slow, so Our best buddies, the Broodals, are going to be back in no time, and we'll have to fight this one that keeps puking more purple poison. What did you eat to puke that much, dude? The next section will give us the Sherm enemies, and we'll have to shoot down some walls. And let me tell you that aiming with the fisheye lens is a real challenge. Like, look at this, I'm just trying to defeat those enemies, and no matter where I shoot, I keep missing. The reticle on screen doesn't work at all, so you can't even rely on that. Thankfully, defeating the boss in the secret flower field is way easier, and the fisheye won't make this any more difficult. And with that dude gone, we can hop back on the Odyssey to go to the Metro Kingdom. But sadly, Bowser has another plan for us, and we'll have to fight this dude on the Cloud Kingdom. Seriously, the cutscenes are actually the best part of this fisheye challenge. Look at Bowser's big nose! It's hilarious to me, I love it! One fight against this big bad dude later, and we can finally go to the Metro Kingdom. Unless... oh no! Well, okay, Bowser broke the Odyssey, and Big Face Peach is really sad about that. So we wake up in the Lost Kingdom, and this world will be cleared quite fast. The power moons aren't really well hidden, and to be fair, I feel like at this point in the challenge, I was actually getting used to the fisheye filter, as I even managed to slide down this wall and explore the hidden cave to reach Captain Toad. I swear I usually have trouble doing that in a normal playthrough, but I did that on my first time with the fisheye filter. Maybe I'm actually starting to get fisheyes. Getting to the top of the world will grant you your final moon, and by using Glidon, we can fly back to the Odyssey and repair it. Alright, now we can finally go to the Metro Kingdom. Hopefully. Well, all I can say is that I was expecting this kingdom to be a little more joyful. The thing is, as Big Chungus Mayor Pauline tells us, a giant beast took control of the city and we have to save it. Getting to the other sides of those gridders is pretty scary, as it's hard to tell if you're going to fall or not with the fisheye, but thankfully I've got a big brain, so I managed to do it quickly. There's more things to shoot down with the Sherm tanks, and aiming is still a pain in the butt, but quickly enough I reached this big building and started making my way up it. I remember this part during the Without a Coin challenge, and it still gives me nightmare to this day. Anyways, sooner than I expected, I was fighting the big boss, which was actually quite easy, believe it or not. Obviously, the main difficulty comes from shooting it with bad aim, but once you get past that, you'll defeat it and bring back peace to the world. Now this is the new Dunk City I remember. Full of cars, buildings, and with so much to do. If you've played Mario Odyssey before, you know that there's a million ways to get power moons in this kingdom, like driving a remote-controlled car, sitting on a bench with a lonely man, finding musicians to play at the concert, and so much more. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that this level was actually quite easy to beat, and I quickly managed to restore the power to the city and start the festival. This 2D section is pretty fun to play, and the fisheye lens makes it way trippier, especially since sometimes you can barely see yourself on screen and have to tilt the camera around. With that festival out of the way, it's time to make our way to Canada. The Snow Kingdom, I mean. Sorry. Navigating the snowstorm when you first land was pretty confusing, and I was glad this wasn't my first playthrough, cause I would have probably frozen to death. Once you get inside the village, we'll get ready to explore 4 different areas, each with their little challenges, and thankfully, these are not too difficult to beat. In fact, I even managed to get the secret moon in each of those areas, meaning I only had 1 more to collect to get out of there. I couldn't leave this world without trying the infamous race where you have to bounce all over the place. Look, let me be honest, okay? This race was insanely difficult. How am I expected to race those dudes, bounce all over the place without even seeing the racetrack? Like seriously, look at this! Don't ask me how I won, as I was in 3rd place most of the time, but at the final lap I actually managed to finally start to get it right, and I ended up in 1st place. That was by far the most confusing part of this challenge so far. Thankfully, the Seaside Kingdom doesn't feature any part like that, and getting power moons ain't too bad. Of course, just like the Lake Kingdom, swimming underwater is really confusing and gave me a headache, but thankfully I managed to get power moons all over the kingdom. Heck, I even fought Mollusque Lanceur just for the heck of it, and this boss fight wasn't too bad. I was soon done with the fight and this world in general, and made my way to the Luncheon Kingdom. At first, I was afraid of this world, as it's pretty big and features a lot of lava, but luckily it's not too hard to navigate. You do have to make sure not to over or undershoot a jump, cause that could happen easily. Mr. Bunny wasn't too bad to defeat, and after that, collecting more moons was also pretty okay. The slot machine minigame was round, and controlling a hammer bro has never been so confusing. But this part where you have to swim on those tiny lava platforms using a lava bubble takes the cake. I died way too many times while jumping and all, because of that stupid fisheye filter. Maybe I'm not seeing clearly anymore. I then became a steak, shook my booty, and I had enough power moons to make my way to the next kingdom. Sadly, Bowser had a big anime dragon and decided to ruin the Odyssey yet again, forcing me to 1v1 this anime dragon. But thankfully, it's still pretty easy to dodge his electric attacks, despite the horrible filter, and I was soon back on my way to the Bowser Kingdom. To be fair, this level wasn't particularly difficult. I had to use Pokios to climb up walls, I then turned into a statue, I fought those big rock enemies and the bunnies yet again, and I soon reached the top of this world and made my way to Bowser, who decided he was gonna go to the moon. Well, dang it. Before making my way up there myself, I had to defeat this big robot, and with the fisheye filter, we could only see its legs and feet, which made the fight a little bit more annoying. But sooner than later, I defeated that robot and made my way in space. Super Mario Galaxy 3, here I come! That's it, it's time to finish the fight. And navigating the moon is actually pretty easy with the low gravity and everything. The underground moon cavern was a bit more difficult, as there's lava all over the place, but with the help of dry bones, hammer bros, charging chucks, and all of the other enemies I could capture, I soon made my way to the church and crashed that wedding. Bowser wasn't too happy about that, let me tell you. Luckily enough, this fight is as easy as the Cloud Kingdom one, so it's not too difficult to grab a hat, punch Bowser a couple of times in the balls, and be done with it. Actually, we still have to escape the moon cavern before calling it quits, so I had to capture Bowser and make my way through these walls and across those platforms. And there we go. We did it, we saved the world, and we got friend-zoned by Princess Peach yet again, so we're finally done with this challenge. So, is it possible to beat Super Mario Odyssey if the fisheye filter is always active? Yes, it is! Not without having a severe headache or without seeing like a fish for the remainder of the day, but yes, it's possible to do so. If you want to see my best fish islands picture I took during the challenge, well, check out my art gallery over on Discord by clicking the link in the description down below. Oh, and thanks a lot for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to subscribe, to smash like, and to share it with your grandma, as I'm sure she loves Mario Odyssey. What, she doesn't? Join Team BBQ and get your name in the credits like those guys by tapping the join button down below, and tap the cards on screen right now to watch even more videos. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!